my friend Macy Caldwell here to talk to you guys about the power of networking. It's so important. We are in a relationship business, and I do agent strategy sessions several times a day. And I can tell you what, the agents that I talk to, they're not doing the things that we should be doing, building relationships with their peers. And I noticed that most people had no idea how to do it. So why not invite the networking queen herself, Macy, on so she can talk to us a little bit about the areas and the things that we need to do in order to be successful with networking so that we can be consistent in it in building relationships. Because this is basic fundamentals of real estate, my friends, building relationships. So Macy, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody who you are, my friend?
Thank you so much. I am Macy Caldwell. I am with Cypress Title. My office is in Stockton, actually, in the Brookside area where most title companies are, actually. I do have an office in Roseville. I have an office in Turlock. I have one in Modesto. So all along this 99 corridor, I have one, of course. And I was with a previous title company for almost 8 years and another title company for 2 years before that. And before that, I did loans. So been in the industry since 2002. Been around a long time. Lots of things to talk about today for sure. And some people know because I will post on Facebook where I'm going to be as far as events and things like that. And I know Marissa knows that recently I did 3 events in one day. That is a lot to do. I do know that. I don't recommend that always, but in our industry, you know, I do like to show some support, my support for my agents and my lenders and be there. Plus, of course, that's where I network. That is where I see all of my agents and lenders, ones that I want to get with, ones that I've worked with for 20 years, you know, things like that. So here I am to talk about those kinds of things today. And
so let's start with that. Let's start with connecting with industry professionals. I mean, as somebody who knows it all, like you've had your hands in real estate forever and ever and all different aspects of it. Connecting with the industry professionals. How can real estate, and what are the types of people that you think real estate agents should their best connections for lead generation would be?
For lead generation, lead generation, I was just going to start off with like free to minimal cost networking. But as far as lead generation, that's a little more separate actually than networking within your peers in our own like organizations or realtor organizations. What I do want to say up front is that I do understand that agents are supposed to allow their sellers to choose offers that come in, but I want to tell you and just make this really clear and really just have this in your mind and your heart. If you are not connecting with your peers out there, your other agents out there, it's best to be familiar with your other agents and your peers. It is best to network with your other agents and peers as well. It really will solidify and give you more of a chance of having your offers accepted if you are familiar to them, if you have major presence known to them, if you are networking within your own market and within your own industry, those people, it's really important for them to know you. I know a lot of people don't think that. I know a lot of people maybe don't go to your industry events or even events that are held by other realtors. Some realtors won't go to that. I'm telling you, it's very important that you do. For one,
I second that, Macy. Yeah. I second that, and the reason why I second that is because connecting with other real estate agents and connecting with other title representatives, I learned as a lender, I am not sending my refi estimates certain places that I won't say their names because, or even my purchases because they'll pull certain reports on the buyers versus the sellers. And that could totally kill my transaction if I've got to lean on my client. So I wouldn't have known that unless I was networking and doing those types of things. And we always have to make sure that we're in a place of providing first excellent customer service. So knowing the right types of questions to ask, it's not just about the client. Like you need to know what changes are happening with title companies. You need to know what changes are happening with insurance companies, right? Things are important so that you can take that intel and be a first resource to your client as you're out there educating them, right?
Yeah, there are a certain type of companies that do run an additional name search and they do it after your client has already signed which is a bummer. They'll run an additional name search. If there's something else that pops up on credit or with their name that the lender has not addressed or doesn't need to address, they will still bring it up to the lender, which then typically you will have to have them pay that off before they get into the home.
My worst nightmare, telling an agent the day
nightmare.
of closing, sorry, title company at the last minute pulled a title search and, yeah, you have to pay off a $10,000 lien that they don't have money for. That's where it is, right? So those things are important.
Right. Cypress Title does not do that. There are other title companies as well that don't do it, but there are still companies that will. So it's good to know, you know, that is something that you will learn out when you're networking. I mean, we in title are trying to put our best foot forward and letting you know some of the great aspects to working with us, of course. Right. Also meet.
It's not just your industry professionals like that, you know, your industry professionals, your networking, you need to keep in mind lawyers. Lawyers right now are huge. I've connected with so many lawyers that are looking for opportunities for their clients, right? So it's all about building those relationships as well, because unfortunately in California, all of the stress that's going on here, there's a lot of divorces that are happening. And they're ugly, they're not pretty, and they need to have options. So partnering with your lender and a title company and, you know, you, the real estate agent, and targeting lawyers right now, that's something that's huge. Where do you get the information, right? There's a lot of places that you can get those types of information from. I have my assistant, and what I do is we go through LinkedIn, right? We utilize, I make sure every week I'm adding lawyers on my LinkedIn so I can establish a relationship with them.
That's a fantastic suggestion. Is having lawyers on your LinkedIn. Fantastic. You know, we had a ton of probate in our office this past year in 2023, a ton. You know, our baby boomer generation is our largest generation that we've ever had in the United States. And unfortunately, in that generation, we are losing some of those folks, and those folks, a lot of them don't have the right paperwork going on. So we are seeing a lot of probate, and it would be great if you got in with a lawyer to handle those probate transactions. That's just more listings for you, of course. And again, that is networking. And some of those attorneys go to the Chamber of Commerce mixers. Chamber of Commerce is a great way to do free networking, which I do want to talk about free networking today, just because we know that 2023 was a tougher year, excuse me, in our market.
Save me money, Macy, save me money.
Right. So free networking, if you do the Chamber of Commerce mixers, I think some of those mixers you have to pay, but the ribbon cuttings are completely free. And if you go on to the Chamber of Commerce websites, you can find out what's next coming up on their ribbon cuttings. Start going to those for free marketing, free networking. Get with those people. Use some ice-breaking, you know, phrases such as, are you here representing yourself, or are you representing a company? Is your company local, or is it nationwide? There's a lot of different, you know, things you can do. Do not ever be afraid to Google ice-breaking phrases. There are good ones out there. So, you know, Google is always a good friend. So make sure you do that. I always say too, you know, as far as free, and you want to, if you want to network with, you know, like I say, networking with your peers, going out to broker opens, going out to open houses, you know, it does give you a moment and a reason to view properties as well. But it's really good to network with people in your own industry. And those are free networks, of course. As far as going to like lunch and learns with your Sacramento area Association of Realtors, also like down in my area, Stockton, Lodi, the lunch and learns are typically free as well. And so, I mean, you might want to check every time, but you do have to register, but that is free networking as well within your community, of course. Now, as far as reaching out to people in your sphere of influence, I do feel like that's more farming, and we can talk about that as well. There's a couple of things I want to bring up to you that is great networking for free within your sphere of influence. If you have sold a home and maybe you're vibing with your clients, you know, maybe they've invited you to some family parties, maybe they've invited you to, you know, their open house, their welcome open house type of thing, you better go to those. You really need to go to those big time, because if their family members are saying, hey, this house is great for you guys, so glad you bought a house, where's the kudos going to go to? To you. Where's that referral going to go to? To you. So you should be going to those. Please don't just separate, you know, business from your clients. You know, if they feel like you're a vibe and they love your energy and they want you coming to their family parties, you know, their open houses, you should come. You should go for sure.
Yeah, I actually went to one of my real estate agents, purchased a new home construction. And they're you know, they're real estate agents, so they're out there chatting it up for everybody coming to the neighborhood. And guess what? I earned 3 client referrals just by showing up that day. Not only did I have dinner there, they had like 5 people come through to sit down to have dinner at their house, which was amazing. And I earned 3 referrals just right there. And I built a relationship with a lawyer. So that was a win for me. Right?
It is. And, you know, because I network with so many agents, I actually had a family member reach out to me recently and ask me about, you know, what agents work with attorneys. And so I referred agents that I know totally work with attorneys. I referred those people. So, you know, you just never know where your next referral is going to be, of course. So it's a big one to remember. I think a lot of people.
Before we move on to the next thing you're going to talk about, I also wanted to, as a lender, I want you guys to know, especially this last year in real estate was tough with the prices being so high, the rates being ugly. I did the most amount of home equity line of credit that I've ever done in my life. And do you know what they all were doing? They were all doing renovation financing. Right. I did so many renovation loans and home equity lines of credit. I'm a purchase money lender. Like 98% of my business is purchase. I like helping home buyers buy a new home. So that was a fun experience for me. But those people are going to be selling within the next couple of years. And who did they connect with? Do you know who I was out there connecting with, looking for? Contractors, right? They built really good relationships with contractors. Your contractor, knowing that right now we're at a place of affordability is a huge issue. We can't afford to buy new homes right now. A lot of people, the families are having to come together. So what does that look like? Well, as an alternative option, having a good, vet them, find them, network with them, a good contractor that's going to be reliable, that can partner with your lender to help do the renovations, to help do the, you know, tiny homes on the weird things happen now, like barnuminiums. I had 3 people call me about a barnuminium. I'm like, what is that? I had to do research on it, right? And so they're doing more creative thinking on how to make homeownership affordable right now. So those types of connections with the tiny home builders, the in-law supporters, you know, those types of builders, and then regular contractors, they're important because they're out there doing work and people are wanting to build pools, those types of things during the summer. They're looking for a lender. And the real estate agent is typically the first point of contact that anybody likes to go to. You can talk to them about their values. What's their why? Where they want to be in the next 12 months to a year? Are they going to stay here together? Does it make financial sense? And then it's about budgeting and planning for their next move. So having those conversations and building those tight-knit relationships with as many contractors and builders that you can is something that's very important to real estate agents that I don't see enough of. I have referred a lot of business to real estate agents just off people that have come to me that have wanted to fix up their home. Because I've talked to them, I'm a loan officer. I'm like a real estate agent trapped in a lender's body. My mind thinks financing. I love finance, right? But my mind goes to how can we increase the value of your home? Well, let's talk to my builder friend that I have a relationship. You want to sell within the next 12 months. Let's do these things. And then you sell next year. And I'll just do a home equity line of credit, right? Those are conversations that you guys can be having with people. That content and information that you can be putting out on social media or connecting with people on saying, let's increase the value of your home. Because just in Sacramento County alone, over the next 12 months, values as is stagnant are anticipated to rise about 6%. That's huge. And I really think it might be a little bit more with as much as interest rates have dropped and just the amount of application increases that I've seen right now. People are going from, I just had somebody quoting a client that I just got off the phone with an 8.625 interest rate. I quoted her a 5.75% interest rate with a 630 credit score. I was like, wow, she was blown away. So she's talking to her friends because they're thinking rates are so much higher than they are. And I've had just an astronomical amount of applications coming in. So there's opportunity in there building those types of relationships and thinking, let's increase the value of your home so you have more money to put down on your next home.
Yeah, as an agent, guess where you're going to get all your vendor contacts from? Networking. That's where you're going to get it from. All of my lists of contractors that I work with and that I refer, I got from being at a networking event whether an agent was putting it on or the association was putting it on. That's where I got all of my contractors. And so, and you want to have those lists ready for people because you may not have all the answers for your clients, but you do want to be their resource. And just like you said, most clients are going to reach out to the agent first before they reach out to you to get a HELOC or anything else, right? HELOCs, we've done a lot of HELOCs this past year, a lot. I mean, there was in 2020 and 2021, the market was so insane that people were, you know, waiving their inspections, waiving appraisals, waiving everything just so they could get their offer accepted. Well, the repairs that needed to be done at that time still need to be done. They have equity now, HELOCs are there. That's what people are typically doing. And so we at Cypress actually have a very low rate for HELOCs. And, you know, if that is something you want to talk to your client about, your client asks you, hey, I'm going to need to move the next few years. I'm having another baby. And so I need more space. I need to move up. And I still have, you know, this work that needs to be done. We're like at $105 up to $250K for a title fee on HELOCs. So that's great. And just know that, you know, your clients are going to be taken care of, but it is really important for you to do that networking, get that list of vendors and contractors that you can refer out so that you are the resource when your clients call you. Right. Of course. I think a lot of people really became agents because they thought they were going to be selling houses, right? They like design or they like interior, you know, design. They like to check out people's homes. Some people do that too. But they really didn't realize that they were going to have to sell themselves. That is what they first have to sell before they can sell a home, right? And the networking thing, that's where that comes into play, is making sure that they are getting out there, networking, going to community events. You can do free community events. In the fall, you know, we usually have a lot of harvest festivals and things like that that are free. Also, springtime will be coming up. You'll be seeing a lot of events that are free for that. You can invite people from your sphere of influence to do these events with you. You don't have to pay for their ticket if it's free. You know, invite like 10, maybe you get 5. Do like a block, walk a block of maybe downtown Elk Grove, Old Sac, invite, you know, do a quick like tour the block, walk the block type of tour that you can do your networking with people and it's still free. You're staying in front of them. You're not doing the farming from, you know, mailing out or doing like behind the screen type, which I find is farming. I think networking is really belly to belly, handshake to handshake, getting to know people, being in their face. I think we lost that art a lot. And so that's what I always think that it's best to do. As far as also, I want to suggest this too. I actually had someone call me today about wanting to do a class at their local association and maybe not getting the response that they wanted to get. And I highly recommend agents get involved with their associations, whether it's, you know, SAR or LAR or CBAR or what have you. I highly recommend they get involved. I will tell you, if you wanted to do an event and you wanted their support, they have a really hard time saying no to you to your face when you are actually involved and going to program meetings or going to education meetings. Once they get to know you and you've become more familiar in those associations, you're going to get what you need from them for sure.
That's awesome.
Well, thanks. Also wanted to talk about maybe expanding your reach as well. You know, sometimes people are trying to do something different. I know we're starting out in 2024, so let's do some different things. I highly recommend, as you mentioned earlier, you know, work if you're a dual agent, you know, hitting up those current coworkers and past coworkers, adding them to your database, really for sure, should be doing that. If you're not a dual agent and you have a spouse or a partner, use them. Get to their company functions, make sure you're going to their, you know, annual company picnics and things like that. The people that you meet, add them to your database, right? Most of those are free. Go ahead.
I would love to expand on that a little bit because this is the number one thing that I have in my agent strategy sessions with real estate agents when they meet with me one-on-one. And they're a dual agent or their husband is, you know, I ask, what do you do? Or what did you do in the past? Well, I used to be a nurse, right? Okay, what hospital did you work for? Kaiser. Okay, let's get a hold of the HR department at Kaiser, know what discounts you want to offer. Here's what I'm willing to offer. This is what the title company is willing to offer. Now, how can that medical facility compete with the other medical facilities, right? This is just additional things. And you have to think a lot of people, especially nurses right now, they're relocating. A lot of them are. relocation is huge. And so if you can come up with and have a corporate benefits package, and you're targeting places like Union, Tesla, medical facilities, those types of places, there a lot of buildings are happening here, like the Coca-Cola plant that's out here in Sacramento, right? Utilize those to your advantage, because you're just getting an additional service that's free for them to offer their employees as a benefit of working for their company. It's just an additional resource that doesn't cost them anything. You just have to have that structured and planned out.
Right. You know, consistency is key no matter what you do. So, and going further with that, I would say going to some places that could actually send you money or could afford to have your services, such as if you wanted to expand your network, I would hit like a trucking firm and drop off a box of donuts. Honestly, truckers make money. They can afford a house, right? That's what you want to do. You want to go to a business that can actually afford your services, afford to buy a house. Maybe during tax season, the start of tax season, you want to bring a box of Danishes over to a CPA's office. But the thing about the CPA is that you need to go like every month. You need to stay in touch with them. But during tax season is when you're going to be a forethought, when you're going to be front of mind, I should say, right? Because they are going to have people that are going to need that tax break. Drop off your cards, drop off like a box of Danishes, something that's not super expensive for you.
Drop off marketing material that says, my lender is willing to give a $500 lender credit for anybody wanting to refinance or purchase their house this year, and whatever it is you want to give as well. Right?
So awesome. Co-brand with a lender that can do that. Absolutely. Right? Yeah, that's a great way.
Those things can be done. And that is of value. And anytime you're offering something of value, why wouldn't they? Because, oh, really? Yeah, I was thinking about that. That is something that CPA, that makes that CPA look good, right?
Right. There's also, like, on social media, there's a lot of networking associations or networking groups that you can join. In fact, if you type into, community events near you and they pop up, you can just start going, whether you're going or not, and more community events will pop up for you because that is their algorithm. But that puts you in some networking situations. Young professionals of Lodi, of Elk Grove, of Sacramento, start joining these associations, especially if they're free, and start going to some of these events and start expanding that network for your stuff, right? If you've had a great year in 2023 and you are ready to put your money out there, that's fine. We can talk about that too. I just wanted to make sure that we get to some of those folks that, maybe had a rougher year and that can do some things for free to expand their network and expand their sphere of influence. And going back to what you had said too, Marissa, about past coworkers is completely untapped. People forget, they sleep on the past coworkers. I don't know why. You've got to do that. Not everybody rolled out of high school and became a real estate agent, right? A lot of people had a past job. Make sure that those people that you still keep in touch with, especially if they're on Facebook with you, make sure that they're in your database as well. What about if you're a member of a church? Make sure you're going to those church functions. Make sure that you are.
It's funny you said that, Macy, because the last 4 calls that I've had, or these webinars that I've had, church has been mentioned. And every single one of them, people forget about their churches.
Hi.
Hey. You guys having fun?
We are having fun. Lots of things to talk about. Yeah.
You're amazing, woman. Thank you for doing this for us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Appreciate you. Church is big. People don't think about that. Could you imagine if you have been in your Bible study for, we'll say, a year or more, and someone next to you says, oh yeah, we're about to sell our house. And you say, have you talked to an agent? Oh yeah, we did. I didn't even know you were a realtor. What? Right? You've got to let people know what you do for a living. You've got to get that out there. I don't care if you're in church or wherever, like you do. Being in the business means being in the business, means always being in the business. That's what I always say. So there's that.
It's funny you say that because I was live on social media the other day and they were like, Marissa, what do you do? I'm like, duh, real estate, have my profile, right? But they forget because I put so much on, like, my motivational example. I like to keep personal, which makes me feel good because at least they're asking. And I got 2 leads out of it for an agent to submit out of. One was in Tennessee and one was in Florida. They're looking to buy. They're nowhere near California, but
still, you were their resource.
For out.
Yeah, totally. You know, what about hobbies? You know, some of you play golf. Make sure you're on the golf course, and the people that you're talking to at your club or on the golf course, make sure they're part of your database. You know, anyone else that you have hobbies with. I know an agent who's in a motorcycle club. You know, I know agents that are in a car club, Tesla car club, things like that. Make sure that you are connecting with those people and add them to your database, add them to your sphere of influence, of course. What about, you know, other parents on your kids' sports teams? People sleep on that one. That's a big one. You know, put your phone down, start talking to these people about what they're doing, where they live. Do they live around there? Right? Those kind of things. You know when they're going to be ready to buy.
Be present, but you know what? It's funny you said that, Macy, because a lot of the time I'm guilty of the same thing. I'm always on my phone, right? I'm always on my phone, and I forget, like, there's 4 people here just looking up because I've been in my computer and on my phone all day that I was like, oh, I have, like, being present is important.
Yeah, totally. People forget about for sure, being, you know, while you're on the sidelines watching little Timmy, you know, run down the soccer field, of course. Right. And the hobby thing is really easy. Like, that's like-minded people. And I had a manager that told me this, and I will go to my grave feeling this in my heart and in my brain, that if you are working with like-minded people, you will be successful. Yeah. So, you know, if you are doing, you know, sharing hobbies with people, that just attracts people to you. That is like-minded people, of course. Yeah. I think there's one thing I do too is I go to like a Stockton networking mixer that one of the agents puts on, but I noticed that other agents go to that too. And I've met a ton of vendors that way, you know, and I don't want anyone to just sleep on it because it's somebody else's, you know, maybe networking event. You should go to that. I see all kinds of other title companies at them. You know, it's great. I learn all kinds of stuff from that.
Yeah.
Yeah. We did talk about social media. I did talk about the business going to like a trucking firm or CPA. I did talk about that. And I just want to make sure I have everything up. I just want to make sure I don't miss anything.
I want to elaborate a little bit more on this. Actually, I'm not even elaborate. I want to challenge you. Put yourself out there this year, one time a month, offering seminars, in person and webinars, just like we're having here. Because you can have this recorded and you can share it to your YouTube. You can share it to people. It's just value. Coming from a place of abundance, like, I mean, honestly, most of you guys that are on here, I don't think I've closed any business with you. That's okay, because I want you out there doing the things that you need to do to be successful in this career, you know, in this career. I care a lot about that. And this is educational. These types of things are important. We are getting ready. We're at tax season right now. So everybody's like prepared, ready to go. They need the money, right? So before they go spend it and waste it on vacations and shopping, you need to be putting the information out there. It's time to schedule. I do all of my scheduling a month in advance so that we constantly have things running. So there is a good turnout. And if there isn't a good turnout, that's okay, because as long as you have it and it's recorded, it's something that's continuously going to be out there that you can share throughout the year, right? So bring industry professionals like Macy or myself on, or even another real estate agent that might know more about flipping, right? Utilize them and their knowledge, because it's going to help you and your business, right? I go to open houses all the time just to find out. I will search for an open house, not even that I was invited to work in. Right. I will search for open houses for homes that were just flipped. I want to know the strategy behind that real estate agent, right? And I'll tell you what, I have learned so much from other agents that I've been able to come back to make me a better loan officer, right? Because now I can go out and educate other real estate agents how to do certain things that are just mind-blowing that they had no idea about. And it's from networking, because people truly come from a place of abundance. They really do. And so utilizing other professionals, like a tax accountant right now, because taxes are February, they're going to have their W-2s by like February 2nd, right? In February, the first week of February, you want to have a seminar with a tax preparer. Home ownership, let's prepare for it. What does it look like? Invite me, I'll come talk about it. I've already had one, and I've already reached out to two agents that want to have one for their sphere of influence, right? So utilize those. Once a month, do it. Put yourself out there and utilize those workshops and seminars. People are asking questions. I get questions all of the time from my following on, well, what about this or what about that? If you can do a seminar, do it. Just do it and put it out there. And don't be discouraged by how many people show up or don't show up, because we all have different schedules. Record it and put it out there. It's different from the time of being in person. We have here at our KW office in Natomas, every Monday and Wednesday, we have an in-person real estate class for new agents it's a real estate school. We have like 30 people in the class. Like, I can't even believe that. That's crazy, right?
You cannot replace the belly to belly. I mean, you just can't. When it comes to networking and really getting people to be your fan, I'm sorry, but belly to belly is the very best. It really is. That's where they feel your energy. That's how you really become familiar, more so than just being behind the screen, especially local. If you are really working your local area and that's what you want to do, doing the belly to belly networking is really, really important.
Create a referral program, not just for your past clients. Be creative.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
Compliant.
Did you say you're compliant?
I said compliant.
Yeah, compliant. Do that too, for sure. Yeah.
I want to open this up to you guys. What questions do you have? What do you guys have for networking?
I'll take anything.
Talk to us. You've got the real estate queen of networking here. Anybody?
Anyone?
Don't be shy. I see.
How about not networking? Anything else that you want to ask me, talk about title wise, anything? I'm here for it. I'm here to answer anything.
No, we got a bunch of shy ones. That's okay.
Hey, I'm here to support. I'm here to, help in any way I can. I'm here to partner with you and, just help you jump off 2024 successful.
Is there anything new on farming, Macy, you can update us on?
Oh, farming. Yeah. Yeah, we can definitely talk about farming. Farming has been around forever. Farming actually stands for Focal Area Research Marketing. So although there is an acronym for everyone or everything in our business, that is what that one stands for. And yeah, I would really go after those that, maybe bought 5 years ago and probably need to move up. I would think about going after those that maybe are, 62, 65 with a 2-story, maybe need to downsize. I would think about some, niches that are really like a niche and not just so like last year I did a lot of just everywhere farming. This year, I feel like people should be like really thinking about a niche. Again, you should be hitting your database. Like we said, past coworkers, all the things to add to your database. Every time you close a deal, you should be hitting that, whether it's both the, just listed and just sold, but I don't think you should just do it at one time. Consistency is key. And if you have already sold in that neighborhood, you have already pulled comps in that neighborhood, you've probably already done an open house in that neighborhood, you could definitely send out a postcard saying that you are the neighborhood expert, because you are. You could be a self-proclaimed neighborhood expert. You've already been in that neighborhood, right? Make sure that you are door knocking before your open houses. I find that to be incredibly helpful. Sometimes you get the neighbors that have been there a long time that want to come over and see the house, and they might make a negative comment or two. Hey, this kitchen's smaller than mine or something, but trust me, they go back home, they call Johnny on the phone. Johnny, there's a house across the street from me that is for sale. Call this person. I got their card for you, right? I'm going to tell you, grandma always wants her grandkids living close to her. So don't listen to the negative stuff. You don't know what they go, back home and say. But I also say that when you are door knocking for that open house, you might want to go up to the door and say something such as, hey, I'm having an open house on Saturday. If you have small children, just want to let you know we're going to have more traffic in the area that day. That way you're coming from a place of contribution and concern for the neighborhood, right? That's a good icebreaker for you. And again, making sure that you are sending out those just sold or neighborhood expert deal mailers once you've already closed, so that you're doing that consistently once a month. Consistency is really key. One time is probably not going to get you the phone call, but 6 times probably is. 4 times probably will, right?
That's right.
Any other questions about farming? I know I farm all the time and all day long, to be honest. So I have so many ideas. It just depends on where you're coming from. Maybe when I meet with you, you have, there's a great database of past workers or your spouse's company or what have you. There's a lot of things we can do with that. And then, of course, get with your lender who can totally co-brand with you and help you with your marketing costs, help you with your open house flyers, help you with, creating a website that is specific to your listing, put that on Facebook, boost that into the Sacramento, into the Bay Area, what have you. Get more people at your open houses. Those things are really helpful.
Yeah, I mean, my agents are spoiled. They have that, through my list reports that I pay for them, their own website, and I get to market to my database too of like 10,000 people. So
yeah, for sure.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today. We hope that we gave you a little bit of tidbits and information. I always appreciate you guys coming. We love the feedback. If there's something you guys want to learn more on, let me know. That's what I'm here for, to help you grow your business. So let's do that together, okay? Other than that, have a blessed day.
Thank
Take
you.
care.